Hello everyone, this is our next video of IPSec VPN series. In today's video, we are going to discuss IPSec VPN architecture. And in this architecture, we will cover gateway to gateway, host to gateway, and host to host architecture of IPSec. So let us start with the first one, gateway to gateway architecture. So IPSec based VPNs are often used to provide secure network communication between two networks. This is typically done by deploying a VPN gateway onto each network and stabilizing a VPN connections between two gateways. Traffic between two networks that need to be secured pass within the stabilized VPN connection between two gateways. The VPN gateways may be dedicated device only perform the VPN functions, or it may another network device such as firewall or router. So the first model of the IPsec VPN, in this way, let's say this is our site 1. This is our site 1. So on site 1, we have to deploy a VPN gateway. This can be a router and this can be a firewall, or this can be any dedicated VPN device. And this is the site B. So in this site B, we need to deploy a VPN gateway also, like a site A and site B. So on the both side, we need to deploy a VPN gateway, and the VPN gateway could be firewall or router or any network, any VPN device. So that VPN device on the both side, it will connect it to the internet to create a IPsec tunnel. So this is the first model of the gateway to gateway architecture. In why we called as a gateway to gateway architecture, because on the both side we have deployed a gateway and this IPsec is forming between two these VPN gateway. That is the reason we called as a gateway to gateway architecture. So this is the first architecture of the IPsec. So let's move to the other slide. The gateway to gateway architecture is the most often used and when connecting to secure networks such as branch office and headquarters. So the gateway to gateway connection is used mostly in current network scenarios, and this is used to connect the head office and branch office. So if I go my previous slide, so in this case, this is my branch office. This is my branch office and this is my head office. So on the both cases, so yeah, so in this case, we will create a gateway to gateway tunnel. Or when I say tunnel and when I say IPsec, the both is the same thing. So in case of this, if we require the communication between this branch office and head office, we have to create a gateway to gateway architecture. And currently this is the most commonly used. Gateway to gateway VPN often replace more costly private wide network circuit. Yeah, this is correct. So we have the another option which I explained you the previous slides or previous videos. So we can take the MPLS and the P2P connection, but those are the costly solutions to connect the branch office and head office. So this is the like a less expensive as compared to the MPLS and dedicated private lines. The gateway to gateway model is the easiest to implement in the term of user and host management. Gateway to gateway VPNs are typically transparent to users, so this is easy to implement. And for the user who is on site A and the services, let's say the user sits on the site A and the services are in the site B, for user it is a transparent. He will not aware that he is accessing the another site, a file server or application throughout the tunnel. So for user it's a transparent thing. So let's move to the another slide. So the another architecture is the host to gateway architecture. It is the most often used to provide secure remote access. The organization deploy a VPN gateway into their network, and each remote access user stabilize a VPN connection between the local computer host and the gateway. So in this case, the first user which is trying to access the company resource, and this is the VPN gateway sits on the organization office. So the user will create a tunnel to this VPN device, and from after that the tunnel is stabilized over the internet. This is this will be the internet. So after the tunnel has been stabilized, the user can now access these file servers or web servers that are hosted on the internal office. So in this way, the host is itself is creating a tunnel on the VPN gateway. So, and the common examples for these scenarios are the Palo Alto Global Protect and Fortinet we called as a Forti client. And every firewall company in the term of checkpoint we called as a Cisco software. So in the Cisco ASA FTD we called as a Cisco AnyConnect. So every firewall vendor is offering their clients in case of the VPN gateway. So mostly firewall is acting as a VPN gateway. So the VPN providers or the firewall manufacturers OEM, they offer the VPN clients to connect the PC to the VPN gateway. So all famous, I would say the famous or any VPN gateway providers, they also support and offer the client-based IPSec solutions when we called as a remote access VPN solutions. So we have other things also. So in case of the IPsec, connections are created needed for each individual user. So every user is having their separate IPsec connections on the VPN gateway. When a user try to access the resources, or when a user initiate a connection towards the VPN gateway, the VPN gateway asks for the authentication process. So it can be a local or it can be a LDAP server. So VPN gateway will negotiate with the LDAP server for the authentication process in case we have added or LDAP servers on the VPN gateway. So when I say the VPN gateway would be the firewall or router. So further, after connecting to the VPN gateway, the organization is having full control of the host. That if the organization wants, they want send the traffic for general internet through their local ISP, or they can route all traffics towards the VPN gateway and from VPN gateway to access the internet. So what I mean is here. So let's say this is the user, and now in this case this is the VPN gateway, or I would say this will be the firewall or router or something. So let's say this is the Palo Alto firewall. So now I am the user using the Global Protect, and I connected with this Palo Alto. Now the inside the LAN we have the 10 subnets 10.0. Let me change the color minute. So inside the LAN, let's have a 10.0.0.0/8, and same as with a 192 and so on. So now let's say I initiated a connection for the google.com, but google.com is not here. Then what I will do, I will send that google.com through their users local ISP. Okay, so in this case, any internet traffic which is not for this destination will be going to their local internet. So we called this process as a split tunnel. So in case of split tunnel, we specifically configure on the Palo Alto that if the client requires any web applications which is not hosted on the organizations or the corporates, send him on the local internet. any application when the user's trying to access which is on the corporates, then send those traffic to the VPN gateway and accept and I will forward it. The process we called as a split tunnel. So now during this process, let's say user is connected on the Palo Alto firewall or any VPN gateway device. So we can control we can check the device posture settings that this is having the latest antivirus as updated or this is latest patched operating system. So even we have an option that we can send all traffic to the Palo Alto and from Palo Alto they will go to the internet. So that we called as a full proxy. So full remote based VPN. So in case of full VPN, we send all traffics towards the VPN gateway and from VPN gateway they will send to the internet using the corporate lease lines. That in this case this will not forward to their local ISP for the general internet purpose. So the user can now access the organization computing resources that we covered. Traffic between users and system are not controlled by the organization can also be routed through the VPN gateway. This IPSec also this allows the IPsec protection to be applied traffic if it's desired. Yeah, so and the VPN gateway can perform the authentication. So we all covered this. So in case of remote VPN, they first need authentication. If it's a split mode, then the local internet or general internet will be routed by the local internet. If it's the full VPN, then all traffic will send to that VPN gateway, and from VPN gateway they reach to the internet via corporate lease lines. So we can create a policies and we can control what user need to be accessed on the corporates and what is not. So this is the another architecture of the IPsec tunnel we called as a remote based tunnels this. So now, so host to gateway we covered it. Now then the next one is the host to host architecture. So this is the least this is the least used. This is the least used VPN architecture host to host model, which is typically used for the special purpose need as a system administrator performing remote management of a single server. So let's this is the system engineer who want to perform some task of the server. So on that case over internet these VPN connections can be stabilized to access the server for their general purpose or any activities the system engineer performed on server. The system administrator use VPN client when needed to stabilize the encrypted connection to the remote server. Yeah, the connection between these two parties will be encrypted. So and this is the another type of the host to host architecture. So now let's understand more. The IPsec connections are created as needed for each individual VPN users. Host has been configured act as IPsec client. Yes, so in case of that host to host profile, so let's say this is host A and this is host B. So in the both cases, they will acting as a IPsec clients. So when a user wishes to use resources on IPsec, the user host initiate communication with the IPsec server. The user is asked by the IPsec server to authenticate. Yes, so they will initiate a connection to this server and they have to also authenticate with the user ID and password. After successfully authentication, this connection will be stabilized. The user now can access the server. After authentication, user can access the server. The network traffic between users and host server will be protected by the IPsec connection. After stabilizing, this is the protected by the IPsec connections. So this is now encrypted traffic. No one can see it. So the next one is the host-to-host architecture. Let's move forward. So other thing is the host-to-host VPN is only model that provides the protection for data through its transit, but this can be a problem. Why this is the problem? Let's say these are the two host-to-host tunnels A and B. So as we already know that this will be the encrypted traffic. So because network-based firewall IPS and other device cannot be placed to inspect the decrypted data, which effectively circumstances to a layer of security. So we cannot decrypt using any firewall. So SSL policy we cannot do it. So that's the reason. So if we cannot decrypt it, then we cannot see it. So that is the problem for the network administrators. If this kind of setup is running in organizations where host to host IPSec VPN is created, so we cannot decrypt on the firewall if any firewall is coming between these communications. So when we trust to each other, these two VPN users, then only we can create a host to host architecture. When a small number of trusted users need to use administrator remote system that require use of insecure protocols like legacy system can be updated to provide a VPN service. So yeah, that is the sense here. So in case of accessing servers with the legacy protocols, we can use the IPsec to secure the communications. So this was the video related to the IPsec architecture. So I hope you liked it. Please like this video and subscribe the Firewall Experts. So stay connected for the new videos for the IPsec. Thank you so much for watching Firewall Experts.